Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I'm going to show you how to do a full service interval or how to completely replace the oil along with the filter and all other parts from any automatic transmission 7G Tronic or 7G Tronic Plus made by MERCEDES Benz. Right here I have the brand new oil which I'm going to put into the gearbox. This one is an ATF Pro made by Valvoline and it's MERCEDES Benz approved, so I recommend all to only use oil like this one which is approved by Mercedes, and this way you'll have no problems with the gearbox. Also, right here I have the brand new filter and the brand new gasket for the oil pan made by Hengst. The car which I'm working on today is a Mercedes-Benz A-Class from the year 2012 with the version W212. With all of these things being said, the first thing which I recommend you to do is to start the engine and let the car idle until it will reach the optimal temperature, I mean the 19 degrees Celsius. Because in this way the gearbox oil will have around 15 or 16 Celsius degrees and it will pour very fast and very easy out from the gearbox. After that you'll have to use a diagnostic tool which is capable of reading the temperature of the oil from the gearbox. In my case, as you can see right here, I'm going to the gearbox, I'm going to check the temperature of the oil, and you'll have to check the temperature of the oil after you fill up the gearbox with brand new oil, and you'll have to check it until it will reach 45 Celsius degrees, and then you have to do the adjusting stage of the gearbox oil. So as you can see, right now it's at 42 Celsius degrees, but it's not important at what temperature the oil it is from the gearbox when you want to remove it from the gearbox. It's only important after you fill it up with the brand new oil. You'll have to let it idle and let it heat up until it will reach 45 Celsius degrees, and then you can go ahead and do the adjusting stage of the oil from the gearbox. After that, the next step which you'll have to do is to go under the vehicle. You'll have to remove the under shields which are mounted under the engine and under the gearbox. I'm not going to show you step by step how to remove them because it's very easy. You'll have to remove all the screws which are securing them mounted to the car all around, and after that you have to put them away. Then you can go ahead and work on the gearbox very easy. Alright everybody, so I've been waiting for about 10 minutes with the engine turned on at idle, and now the temperature of the engine is almost at 90 degrees Celsius. So as you can see right here on the right side. And right now if I go onto the diagnostic tool, if I want to check the temperature of the oil from the gearbox, let's see at what temperature the oil it is right now. So before, as you saw, it was at 42 Celsius degrees, and right now if I go right here, the temperature of the oil it's at 53 Celsius degrees. So this is very good. I can go ahead and remove all the under shields from the car, and I'm going to drop the oil from the gearbox. After that, one very important thing which I recommend you to do is to let the car into the neutral when you are doing the gearbox oil replacement. So I recommend you to do this because you'll have to turn the engine, you'll have to rotate the engine by the crankshaft bolts, because you'll have to remove the oil from the converter, from the torque converter, and also from the oil pump which is mounted over the gearbox. And if you are not able to rotate the engine, you will not be able to rotate the converter and reach the drain plug from it. So I recommend all to turn on the ignition. You have to put the car into the neutral and you'll have to remove the ignition. And because the car will be into the neutral, it will not let you pull the key out from the ignition. But it's not important, you have to let the key into the ignition, just open one window if you want to be sure that the car will not lock itself or something like that, and go ahead and remove the oil from the gearbox. So in my case, the car is on the neutral, I removed all the under shields from the car, and right here, this is our oil pan from the gearbox. And right here, in front of the oil pan from the gearbox, it will be the oil pump. This is a special oil pump made for this kind of cars, and it's secured with 3 screws which are securing it mounted over the gearbox. You'll have to remove those 3 screws, you'll have to disconnect the connector which is attached to it, and you'll have to pull it down and it will come out from its place, and some of the oil will also drip from the mounting support of the oil pump. After you remove this oil pump, you'll have access to the torque converter bolt, and you'll have to remove the torque converter bolt or the drain plug bolt from the torque converter, and a lot of oil will also come out from the torque converter, and in this way the job will be done properly. Just make sure to disconnect all the cables. You'll have to follow the cables, you have to remove them from around the oil pan from the gearbox. Also you'll have to remove this metal shield from right here. You'll have to remove 2 screws in this corner, the screw from the oil pan and the screw which is securing the metal shield attached to it. And right here in the right side it will be our drain plug from the oil pan. Right here from the oil pump, I hope you all can see exactly, you'll have 3 screws right underneath. You'll have to use a Torx 30 to remove them, And with this connector from the side of the gearbox, you'll have to pull it very gently because it's secured with a special clip. You'll have to pull the special clip and it will come out from its place. Alright everybody, right here from the top of the engine I removed the pipe which is going to the air filter, and right here I also removed the little plastic shield which is mounted over the serpentine belt, and right here as you can see we have the crankshaft pulley, and you'll have to put a special key over one of the bolts from the crankshaft pulley, and you'll have to rotate the engine clockwise. Normally you have to do this kind of job because the torque converter, which is mounted inside the gearbox, has a little drain plug on it, and if you're not rotating the engine, probably it will not fit perfectly over the hole and you won't be able to remove the drain plug bolt from it. But I will show you later in a few minutes how to do it exactly and how you have to follow and what you have to do exactly if you want to do this kind of job perfectly like I'm doing it right here. So with all of this being said, it's time for me to go ahead and remove the drain plug bolt from this kind of oil pan. After you remove the drain plug bolt, you'll have to let the oil come out from the gearbox, and after you see that the oil is coming out very slowly, you'll have to take a flat screwdriver or something like that, and you'll have to put it into the hole from the drain plug bolt from the oil pan, and you'll have to push it to the side until it will push out the adjusting filling plug from inside the gearbox. After you push it out, more oil will come out from the gearbox, and only then you can go ahead and remove the rest of the bolts and the rest of the parts from the gearbox and drop the oil pan from this car. Right now, as you can see, the oil is only dripping out. This is meaning that you have to take a flat screwdriver or something like that. You have to push it into the drain plug hole, and you'll have to turn it left and right, it doesn't matter on which side, until you will push the adjusting plug out of the way, and in this way all the oil will come out from the oil pan and from the gearbox. In my case, I was able to push the adjusting plug from inside the gearbox with a cross screwdriver, and as you can see, now all the oil is coming out very easy and fast. While I'm waiting for the oil to completely drip out from the gearbox, I will go ahead, I will remove the oil pump from the gearbox, and also I will remove the drain plug from the torque converter on this car. After that, you'll have to remove all the connectors which are mounted around the gearbox and around the oil pump. You'll have to disconnect it from the connector, and you'll have to remove them very carefully. Make sure to not break the clips or something like that, and you'll have to put them away. And like I told you at the beginning of this video, you have to remove the 3 screws which are securing the oil pump mounted to the gearbox. Just remove them, and you'll have to pull it out from the gearbox, and it will come out from its place. Also, be prepared to put something underneath to catch the oil, because some of the oil will also come out from the gearbox side where the oil pump is installed. Just pull it slightly out. You'll have to clean it, and you'll have to put it away and prepare it for later when you'll have to install it back on the gearbox. Okay everybody, so right here, I hope you all are able to see exactly. You'll have this little cap of rubber. This is made by rubber, which is covering the hole from the torque converter drain plug. So you'll have to pull it out. Just use something sharp. You'll have to put it underneath and pull it out. And after that, it will reveal the torque converter. And from this hole, you'll have to rotate the torque converter until the drain plug from the torque converter will be exactly fitted into the hole, and you'll have to remove the drain plug, and the oil from the torque converter will come out in this way from this hole. Right now, as you can see, I will give you all a better look, a closer look of how all the parts are looking. And as you can see, those two holes are from the oil pump, and right here, this is the hole where you'll have to remove the drain plug bolt from the torque converter. Right here, this part from inside it is the torque converter on this kind of car. Alright everybody, so as you can see into the hole, I managed to turn the engine a few times. I did turn it off camera, I came back under the car, I check it, I go back, I turn it a little bit more, and so on until the drain plug from the torque converter did align with the hole from the gearbox. So as you can see right here, the torque converter drain plug, it's aligned perfectly into the middle. Now I'm able to put the little tool and remove it completely and drain the oil from the torque converter. Alright everybody, so as you can see, the torque converter drain plug is out. The oil is dripping very slowly because there is no air inside it. It will come out very slowly. I think it will take about 2 hours to completely drain from the torque converter. But in the meantime, I will go ahead and remove the oil pan. I will remove the oil filter and all the other parts from the gearbox. I will clean it very good, and I'm going to install back the new parts back on the gearbox. To remove the oil pan completely from the gearbox, you'll have to remove the 6 screws which are securing it mounted in place, and you'll have to hold it with one hand after you remove the last screw which is securing it mounted in place, and you'll have to drain the oil which is still into the oil pan, and you'll have to remove it completely from the gearbox. I recommend all to not force the little screws which are securing the oil pan mounted to the gearbox, because the screws are made by aluminum and they can break very easy. I recommend all to use new screws, but if you're not able to use new screws and you want to reuse the old ones, just make sure to tie them to spec. You'll have to tie them to 4 Newton meters and 180 degrees, or to 8 Newton meters. Just to remove the oil pan, you have to slide it down just a little bit until all the oil will drip from it, and you'll have to put it away. After that, just remove the oil filter. You'll have to pull it down and it will come out from its place. And if you want to install back the new one, just push it up. Make sure to lubricate the O-ring very good and push it up into its place, and that's it. Alright everybody, right here it will be a closer look of how all the parts are looking from the gearbox. This is the mechatronical part, or the valve Tronic part from the gearbox. You'll have to clean it very good. You'll have to use some brake cleaner and wash it very good. And after that, I recommend you to use some comprimated air to make sure that everything is clean 100%. And as you can see, the oil from the torque converter, it's still dripping out. This is how the gearbox is looking without the oil pan. This is how all the parts are looking. It's looking very good inside. I think it is a little bit of wear From what the owner told me, he replaced the oil for about 80,000 kilometers ago, and now it's time for me to replace it again with brand new oil and brand new filters and also the brand new gasket for this kind of gearbox. Right here I have the oil pan, I have the oil filter inside it, and right here I have the oil pump from this gearbox. I used a lot of brake cleaner, I cleaned the oil pump very good, and it's ready to go back on the gearbox after I'm going to install everything back together on the car. As you can see, the oil filter is very black, all the parts from inside the gearbox were very worn out. I have a lot of metal shavings over the magnets from the gearbox pan, and I'm going to show you in a second in what condition they are. Right here, as you can see, this green part, this little green part which is installed on the drain plug bolt, you'll have to remove it, you'll have to clean it, and in some cases, if you're able to, you can install a brand new one, but in my case I'm going to reuse it, I'm going to make it like new, and I'm going to mount it back over the oil pan, because there is no need to install a new one, because this one is in a perfect condition. Also, those are the magnets which will catch all the wear from the gearbox, and as you can see, I have a lot of metal shavings, I have a lot of wear over them. This meaning that the gearbox is a little bit worn out. The car has over 360,000 kilometers. It's a normal thing for this high mileage. And I'm going to clean the magnets, I'm going to clean the oil pan, and I'm going to install them back on the car with a brand new gasket over it. Very good, everybody. This is how the oil pan is looking with everything cleaned out. I removed the old gasket from the oil pan. I cleaned the magnets. I cleaned inside and outside of the oil pan, and everything is looking like new. Right now, I will go ahead. I will install the brand new gasket over the oil pan, and I will go ahead and install it back on the car afterwards. Right here you all have the code or the part number from the oil filter made by Hengst. I hope you all can see exactly. The light is not so good, but it can be seen right here. Right here I have all the parts which are ready to be installed back on the gearbox. Right here I prepared 8 liters of brand new oil, but I'm going to use 9.5 because I always recommend all to use more oil than remove from the gearbox, and from what I've been measuring, I removed about 8 liters and a half of oil from the gearbox, and I'm going to put 9 liters and a half brand new into the gearbox. Right here, this is a special fitting which you have to put into the drain plug bolt, and you have to attach the hose from the tool to it, and you have to push the oil back into the gearbox. And also, don't forget to put brand new copper washers over the drain plug from the torque converter, and also over the drain plug from the oil pan from the gearbox. Right now, the only thing which you have to do is to go right here underneath the car. I'm going to wait a little bit more until all the oil will drain from the torque converter, and as you can see, it's still dripping a lot of oil because you'll have around 2 liters of oil into the torque converter. I think in some cases it will be more, and after that I'm going to clean the area and I'm going to install the parts back on the gearbox. Right here, as you can see, this is all the oil which I removed from the gearbox. It's a very black oil, it's a very dirty oil. It's a very good thing that I choose to remove it and replace it right away. and I'm going to put it into the boxes from the oil. I'm going to exactly measure it, and I'm going to see exactly how much oil it came out from the gearbox. Right now I'm going to use some brake cleaner. I will clean the gearbox side and also the valve Tronic side or the mechatronic side, doesn't matter how I want to call it. And then I'm going to install all the parts back in reverse: the oil filter, the oil pan, the little bolts which are securing the oil pan to the gearbox, the oil pump. I'm going to put back the drain plug from the torque converter, the little cover from the torque converter hole, and then I'm going to fill back the gearbox with brand new oil. Just push the brand new oil filter back into its place, and that's it. Is normally to let it hang a little bit, it will move a little bit up and down like it's doing it right here, but this is perfectly normal. Just push it back into the gearbox until it will snap inside it, and that's it. Right now I'm going to put the oil pan, I'm going to tighten the bolts, and I'm going to secure it back like it was from the factory. Alright everybody, the oil pan is secured back to the gearbox, it's tightened to spec. Now I'll go ahead, I will put back the drain plug bolt from the torque converter, and you'll have to tighten it to 15 Newton meters. After that, moving on with the job, you'll have to put back the rubber cover from the hole on which the torque converter drain plug will be removed. You'll have to put it back, just push it back, and it will stay in place. After that, you'll have to put back the oil pump. You'll have to tie the screws from the oil pump to 10 Newton meters. Make sure to lubricate the O-rings to make it slide very easy into the gearbox. And after that, you have to install all the cables, all the hardware from around it back onto its place. Very good everybody, everything is installed back on the gearbox. I installed the oil pump, I tied it to spec, I installed the drain plug from the torque converter, and also I tied it to spec. I installed the oil filter from the gearbox, I installed the oil pan from the gearbox, and all the hardware and cables from around it. And from here, one more thing which you have to do is to put the oil back into the special thing, the special pump which you have to use to push it back into the gearbox. I'm going to put around 9.5 liters of brand new oil into the special pump, and then I'm going to put it back into the gearbox. And the way to fill it back with the brand new oil, you'll have to do it in 2 stages. You'll have to fill back only about 5 or 6 liters of brand new oil into the gearbox with the engine turned on. And after you fill about 5 or 6 liters, you'll have to turn on the engine. You'll have to work with each gear. You'll have to wait at least 50 seconds on each gear, and after that you can go ahead and push the rest of the oil back into the gearbox. And you'll have to wait with the car at idle for the oil from the gearbox to reach about 45-60 degrees, and then you have to do the adjusting stage of the oil from the gearbox. Alright everybody, I just finished filling up the tool with brand new oil. I'm going to attach the adapter to the oil pan, and then I'm going to attach the hose and push all the brand new oil into the gearbox. And like I told you earlier, just push about 5 or 6 liters in the first stage, then work with the gears, and after that you have to come back and push all the rest of the oil into the gearbox. Okay everybody, so from what I can see, I have about 3 liters of oil still left into the tool. Now I will go up, I will go into the car, I will start the engine, and I will work with each gear for at least 50 seconds until it will build pressure into the gearbox. Okay everybody, so after you start the engine, just put the car in each gear for at least 15 seconds, and then you have to go under in the car with the engine turned on, and you have to push the rest of the oil back into the gearbox. And after that you have to wait for about 10 minutes or something like that with the car at idle until the oil from the gearbox it will reach 45-60 degrees, and then you have to remove the adapter. You have to let the oil which is in excess drip out, and then you have to put the drain plug from the gearbox and tie it to spec, of course. Right now I will push the rest of the oil from the tool back into the gearbox, and then I will wait for the oil from the gearbox to reach 45-60 degrees, and then I'm going to do the adjusting stage of the oil from the gearbox. Don't worry if you see some oil right here in this area, like I have right here. This is the old oil from the torque converter which you drained, and because it's inside the gearbox, some oil will still be into the gearbox, and it will take it a little bit of time until it will drain completely from the gearbox. Right now everybody, the temperature of the oil from the gearbox, it's at 45-Celsius degrees. So this is meaning that I can go ahead, I will go under the car, I will remove the adjusting plug, and I will see how much oil it's dripping out. If there is no oil which is coming out from the gearbox, this is meaning that you have no oil to adjust. This is meaning that you have to put more oil into the gearbox. You have to put about 1 liter more or something like that, and you have to redo the adjusting stage. So right here, as you can see, I'm going underneath the car. I will remove this hose and see how much oil is coming out from the gearbox. Alright everybody, so as you can see, there is no oil which is coming out from the gearbox. This is meaning that I have to add more oil and put it back into the gearbox. I will have to add about 1 liter more and put it back into the gearbox. I will turn off the car, I will put it back, and then I'm going to start the car and wait again for the temperature of the oil to reach 45 Celsius degrees, and then I'm going to remove it again and do the adjusting stage of the oil. Okay everybody, now the temperature is again at 45 Celsius degrees. I will go underneath the car, I will remove the hose again, and I will see how much oil will come out from the gearbox. Very good everybody, so as you can see, now I have a lot of oil which is dripping out from the gearbox. This is meaning that now the gearbox is doing the adjusting stage. It's removing all the excess oil which is still into the gearbox, and it's only letting the correct amount of oil into the gearbox. When you see that the oil is only dripping out, you have to remove the tool, the special adapter, and you have to put the drain plug and tighten it to 22 Newton meters. Alright everybody, so as you can see, now the oil is dripping. I will remove the adapter, I'm going to put the drain plug board, and I'm going to tighten it to spec. Right now, from this stage, the job is done. The only thing which you have to do is to go ahead. In my case, I'm going to check how much the temperature just raised until I was doing the adjusting stage. And as you can see, the temperature is at 48 Celsius degrees. The oil temperature raised with about 3 degrees. So this is very good. From here, the only thing which you have to do is to install back the undershields from under the gearbox and from under the engine, and the job will be done. Okay everybody, I just finished installing everything back together from under the car. I installed all the undershields. I also did a run with the car. I took it for a test drive to see how the gearbox is behaving, and it's working great. It's shifting very smoothly. Everything is working how it's supposed to be working. Even if the car has so many kilometers, the gearbox is shifting like a new one. So this is all you have to do. This is how to do a full service interval, or how to replace the gearbox oil from any automatic transmission, 7G Tronic or 7G Tronic Plus, made by Mercedes Benz. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video and found it informative, please leave a like and comment down below. See you next time.